What's up, YouTube? It's Todd Horst here with Tasty Tracker, and today I wanted to do a small account challenge on the 2021 account. This feels a little bit familiar. When I started the 2020 account, of course, we had the COVID crash, and now here we are in 2021, and I'm attributing the market volatility to GameStop and everything that's surrounding that. So yeah, I don't expect the market in general to be up until everything is over with GameStop. Obviously, from that perspective, I hope that it's sooner rather than later. But we'll drill into all of that. So let's get right in. Okay, so we can see the account here. It's at 1024. So I'm actually down $25 from the time I got started the account. Of course, down substantially more if we go to the 1 month. We were as high as around 1250, 1270, somewhere in that range. And so all of that is over here is a paper win, and where we're at right now is a paper loss. And people have made fun of me for saying that before because that's the excuse you tell yourself when your positions are down. And incidentally, they're not down by much. Amazon here is right around zero. Apple is under $10 loss. AMD is really the stinker here of the bunch, but hopefully that picks up here shortly. The only one that's on for the next expiration cycle is Amazon. So we'll go over that one first, and then we'll go over AMD and Apple. But first, while we're here, we'll go over look at SPY. So yeah, we can see here, it's actually probably better to pull up a better chart. I like to look at SPY on the 1 day on Robinhood just because it's a nice chart to look at, very clean, minimalistic. You can see the general trend normally, and here obviously it's very obvious. For any better charting, I like to go over here to TradingView. That's just my current platform of choice. This is a lot lighter than opening up Thinkorswim. I do use Thinkorswim if I want to get into some heavy charting or something like that. But anyway, yeah, so this is the day view. We can see here yesterday when everything was frozen, the market liked that in general, and we quickly peaked back up here. But then today with the ability to trade GameStop again, we're down. So honestly, I don't expect that this will change until this whole thing is over. I could definitely see, down to 160 over the next couple days. And then, yeah, hitting the 100-day is not out of the question here if everybody doesn't get things under control, on both sides of the fence. Okay. So, yeah, I guess that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and look at Amazon. So in Tastyworks, you can look at your chart and see, how much of a buffer, and it has a little nice beta weighted chart for you. But because we're using SPY here, I could come into this and I can see, for all of the history where I have that they have on it, it's kind of bounced back a lot. And of course, that depends on the minute. But the important thing here is to look at the 30.95 strike. So if I come here and I have the 30.95 actually in green, and that sort of puts it into perspective. So let me squinch this chart a little bit. Okay, so yes, it totally is possible to get below that green line, but it did it here only for a couple days back in November. Only for a couple days back here in September, and then you get back here to where it's actually climbing up this high. So that's in the July. So you're talking about 6 or 7 months ago that it crossed through here and then has acted as support. So from that perspective, things look really nicely. The SMAs are still consolidated up here, and it's staying relatively above those SMAs. We have earnings coming up, which I would expect still at this point that earnings will be great. That doesn't mean the market will react in a good manner. It just means that obviously their company is still doing fine. So if we try to spread this out a little bit more, I think I have a lot of things going on. This is more than I typically like to have on a chart. It's a little bit crazy at the moment, but we have this downtrend line that we've broken above. And so it is possible that we come down here and test that again. Simultaneously, we have an upward wedge that you can see it's kind of spreading out. So it's very possible that it comes up here and then comes back down here, and it keeps making higher highs. Again, we have a flat resistance up here, flat resistance up here, and then this, yeah, I already went over the bottom line. That's the wedge. So right here is the February expiration. And so you can look at this. Let me color this line green. To sort of ease your anxiety regarding these positions, it's good to set up this crosshair here, okay? So all I need is for Amazon, which is currently here, to be at, above this quadrant here, and not down in here. And, I guess, people might be concerned with how little it is, but then if you go back and think about all the times that this has acted as support, there is also potential that we could roll it out here for credit. Robinhood's rolling mechanism is not good, but a real broker like Tastyworks, rolling is very intuitive, and you can do it one nice transaction, and it's very easy to do. Anyway, okay, so my opinion here is this position is still fine. I don't intend on rolling it. If the market continues to have a freak out, I could still probably even roll it over, especially because of the increased volatility, both from earnings and the market in general. But even if it gets down to this range, I still probably could roll it for a credit. So yeah, I'm not concerned at that position. And again, that's my closest position to expiration. So primarily when I'm looking at all of my positions, I'm really only concerned about the positions that are coming out up on the next expiration cycle. So we have Apple here. And Apple's actually a really good spot to add. I have the 130. So 130 here is right where my cursor is. I don't actually have a line here, but we can bump this up to 130 and make it green. So I'll click on these. Okay, so that's where 130 is. And actually that is kind of at a support level here. And here it was a resistance, and then it should be support here as well. We're below the 20-day, but 50 days right here around 127.63. I can look at this number over here. So basically 128. So very close to a point where, in theory, it would come down, potentially bounce off the 50, and then come back up again. My squiggle I've done from weeks past is still in play. Still relevant. And so we have, again, this is the March expiration for this one. So I want to be above in this quadrant, above this green line before this blue line. I think that's very possible. Even though the MACD is looking a little bit bad, RSI is fine. They did fine on earnings. TradingView here is saying they estimated 142 and they reported 168. These numbers aren't always 100% accurate, so you might want to look at other brokers, but the general idea is fine. And honestly, to me, what matters most of the time is the interpretation of those results, not necessarily the results themselves. Okay, so again here, looking at it being right at my support line, and not concerned at that position. AMD, I have the 85 strike that I'm concerned about. AMD is the worst in this bunch, for sure. One thing I'm not liking here is this sort of downtrend. We have a channel where this top line on this channel is the upper resistance, and then we have this lower resistance. And so that acted back here, and then it tried to get up over that twice and failed. So, you could choose which line you want to think is actually the resistance. That's your choice. But either way, I don't like that it's coming down here. We are at the 100-day right here. Let's change this to show the 200-day. So I'll remove my 20-day and move the 200-day. So 200-day would be the whole way down here at $74, $75, somewhere in that range. I definitely don't see it coming down to there. I think we're at a logical point here where this trend line kind of comes back to here, which would be November, where this has acted sort of as a support and resistance a little bit. We have another one here at 89, which is now going to act as resistance, because as it comes up, it's going to want to bounce off of that and come back down. Couple that with the 50-day SMA being right here as well, and that's another resistance. But But like I said, I have the 85 strike here, which I have highlighted in green. Anticipation here is that it either comes through for a couple days and then pops back up, or will even bounce in the coming days. MACD and RSI look great. We can see the selling volume has gone down. It's weakening. We're already through earnings, estimated 47 cents, and we got 145. So again, we have another pretty nice beat. So again, all of the market consolidates when things go down, and they're all lifted up together. So with SPY coming down in general, if it continues to go down, AMD, Apple, Amazon, etc., will all follow as it comes down. Now, each one's going to come down different percentages, obviously, but they will all come down. But overall, I think we're at a good spot here. This should be a bounce. If we get another bounce and it comes up here and acts as resistance, once we get into sort of end of February, that's sort of the make or break time. If we can't break above these resistance, then I would probably stop putting on positions on AMD until it shows signs of recovery. Or if it breaks down, obviously before then. So this one's still in the bubble. It most likely will be fine. Again, it has to stay above this green line into this square here in order to be profitable at the time of expiration. I don't really concern myself with the day-to-day movements. Yeah. All right, so I think that's really it. I still have the same 50% closing orders. Luckily a lot of people got better fills than I got, so they already out of those positions. So if you're out of those positions, you can just take trade ideas that you see on my Twitter or that you see around the internet or your own trades. There's a lot of good setups right now because of SPY being down. Obviously, if you're interested, you can do the Pro tier, which has more alerts. Usually do at least one a day. But yeah, I think that's it. And if you have any questions, let me know.